AxeGov News, where we chop down corruption to help save America. Today, I'm here to talk to you about how the U.S. Congress and the President are taking your tax dollars and then spending us into oblivion with crazy and wasteful projects that are just downright unnecessary and serve no purpose whatsoever for the U.S. taxpayer. I didn't know if you're aware of this or not, but over the past several years, we have been averaging deficits of over $1 trillion. That means that the Congress is spending $1 trillion or more on average above and beyond what this country is taking in. As a result, the total debt that is owed by this country has been spiraling out of control, and currently we owe almost $18 trillion on our national debt. 18 trillion. That's a 1 and an 8 with 12 zeros after it. That's a hell of a lot of money, folks. Some of you may be rightfully wondering, gee, I wonder just what the hell Congress has been spending all of that money on. Well, thanks to a list of various projects compiled by Congressman Bill Posey on his website, we now know at least some of those things that Congress has been recklessly wasting your taxpayer dollars on. For starters, we're going to kick off the party by mentioning that Congress spent $547,000 on a dancing robot DJ. Oh yeah, you know that's over $500,000 of your tax dollars that just went boogieing right out the door. Then, Congress decided to spend $350,000 on a study to see how golfers can use their imaginations to help them golf better. You kind of got to wonder if maybe President Obama didn't have a saying in that one. Hell, he sure as heck spends a lot of his time playing golf instead of doing things this country needs done. That's for dang sure. Oh, and then Congress decided, hey, as long as we're talking about playing games, let's spend $315,000 on a study to see if playing Facebook's Farmville helps people make and keep friends. You know, Congress, maybe you guys would be able to make friends with the voters if you didn't waste our tax dollars on all this stupid bullcrap. Really? Who the hell cares if playing Farmville helps you make and keep friends? This is not helping the American taxpayer. Gosh. Oh, but then Congress felt that it was necessary to spend $1.2 million of your tax dollars to help save the world of Warcraft. Yes, that's right. They used $1.2 million of your tax dollars to fund a study for 39 senior citizens to spend 2 hours a day for 2 weeks playing the World of Warcraft, going out there and venturing forth as warlocks and warriors and spirit healers to help save the world. And it only cost $1.2 million. Really, guys? Come on! This is ridiculous. I mean, what? I don't play Warcraft, but how much of them freaking subscription fees did it cost $1.2 million to do this? Supposedly, the reason for doing this is to help see if playing Warcraft improved the cognitive functions of the brains in these senior citizens. Well, I don't know about that, but personally, I feel a lot more cognitive of how Congress is wasting our tax dollars. And you should be too. Next up, Congress decided to spend $325,000 on rattlesnake reactions to robotic squirrels. Okay. Next. Oh gosh, I'll tell you folks, you just can't make this stuff up. Congress decided to spend $350,000 to study the sexual habits of quail on cocaine. Yes, you heard that right. $350,000 to study the sexual habits of quail on cocaine. Folks at PETA, listen up. Congress just basically spent this money to take poor, innocent little birds, forcefully shoot them up with cocaine, put them in a cage, then, while they're half-baked and strung out on cocaine, decided to watch them have sex and make out with each other. Why? Why? Well, supposedly their reason is because they say that the sexual habits of quail are similar to the sexual habits of humans, and that somehow studying quail having sex on cocaine would be similar to humans having sex on cocaine. And we needed to know this because why, Congress? Who the hell cares? Why does this matter? Are you guys just fragged in the head? Why do we need to waste money on this? My gosh, this is just insane. But you know, the insanity doesn't stop there. Congress decided that, you know, it's time to be more green and eco-friendly. So they spent $8.5 million to buy biofuel at the low price of $424 per gallon. Yes, that's right, $424 a gallon. That's only what? Over 100 times the price that you and I pay for a gallon of gasoline? Yeah, nice bargain there, Congress. Sadly though, that actually does seem like a bargain compared to what I'm going to tell you next. Because at least when we spent $8.5 million on biofuel, we actually at least had something to show for it. But Congress then decided to loan $43 million to Beacon Power, which is now bankrupt. That's $43 million just thrown right into the toilet and then pulling the flusher on it because that money is gone. And then Congress decided that wasn't enough wasted money on green energy. They wrote out a $70 million loan to Abound Solar, which is also now bankrupt. Then they decided, hey, we just can't waste enough of the taxpayers' money on green energy. So they gave $150 million to Compact Power's hybrid battery plant, which furloughed workers before even a single battery was ever produced. And then to top that off, they decided to loan $535 million to solar panel maker Solyndra, which is also bankrupt. That money is gone, out the door, never coming back. Nice job, Congress. At least for what it's worth though, hey, at least they tried to waste that money in America. But where it really gets interesting is whenever you go outside the United States of America to start wasting our tax dollars. For starters, we spent $160,000 studying Jordanian hookah smokers. You know that money's just gone right up in smoke. Then we decided to spend $20 million to produce a Pakistani version of Sesame Street. I'll tell you what, I bet Big Bird's really feathering his nest right about now with that nice $20 million nest egg. Oh, and then we decided to spend $27 million to teach Moroccan pottery class. You know, for $27 million, you might expect that class to be teaching a hell of a lot of students. But you know in America, you know how many students they have? They have 10 regular attendees to these classes. 10. $27 million. Really? I'll tell you what, I don't know about you, America, but I'd like to be that instructor because he must be making a fortune. But that's only getting started here, folks. We also spent $770 million to repair mosques and other religious buildings in foreign countries. Yes, that's right, folks. We have plenty of infrastructure here in America that could certainly use that kind of repair work. But hey, why spend the American tax dollars on America when we can blow it on foreign countries? $770 million worth, as a matter of fact. And you know what else is interesting about that? You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe all those years ago, back in 1791 or so, Congress approved the First Amendment, which in part reads that Congress shall pass no law respecting an establishment of religion. And I'm pretty sure that spending our money on church buildings is about as much establishment of religion as you can get. Then Congress decided to go out and top that one by wasting $4.2 billion on helping illegal immigrants collect child tax credits. Yes, that's right, America. People that aren't even legally allowed to be in the US of A are able to come here and take $4.2 billion of your tax money, even though they're not allowed to be here in the first place. Why, Congress? Why? Then Congress decided, hey, we do such a great job of governing America, we need to teach the rest of the world how to run their governments too. So they spent $425,000 on a study to help India improve its local government. You know what, Congress? Here's a tip for you. Learn how to govern the US of A first, before you try to tell everybody else how to run their governments. Jeez. Then Congress kept on going. They decided, hey, let's see what other ways we can find to waste your tax dollars. They earmarked $2 million for the Department of Agriculture to hire interns. Now granted, I get it. Government does need to hire some people to, help run the country and all. But for their $2 million of money they set aside for this purpose, they hired one intern. Once again, $2 million, one intern. Yeah, that's an efficient use of tax money. Speaking of efficient uses of your tax money, Congress every year decides to print out every single thing that is said in Congress. And all this printing comes at the low price of only $8 million. Yes, that's right, they spent $8 million of your tax money, and Congress does this every single year. Oh, by the way, all that stuff they're printing is available for free on the World Wide Web. Why do we need to go with something archaic as printing out copies of stuff that you can just simply go on a computer and look at on the internet for free? Really, Congress? This is kind of a no-brainer, okay? But through the coup de grace, Congress and the President decided to spend $35 million of your tax money on the Democratic and Republican national conventions. Yes, America, you paid $35 million for the Republican and Democrat national conventions, and you're not invited. That's right, you pay for it, but you can't come to it. This is ridiculous. I mean, just for sanctioning that alone, both the Democrats and the Republicans need to be gone from Congress. This is ridiculous, folks. America, needless to say, we need to put an end to this spending. Now. To that end, some well-meaning people out there have come up with a plan for this, called the Balanced Budget Amendment. And basically what this amendment would do is it would require Congress to make a budget plan for every year, and the budget could not exceed the amount of money that the government brings in. Now, this all sounds fine and good, but there is one small problem with this. A budget, by definition, is basically a plan that basically they write out this plan and say, okay, we're going to plan to spend this much money. But let me tell you, folks, when it comes to Congress, plans are made to be broken. After they write up that plan, Congress is then going to take that plan, start shredding it up, go whee, throw it aside, and do whatever they dang well please anyways. So unfortunately, a balanced budget amendment isn't going to quite do it. What I'd like to propose instead of that is what I call a balanced spending amendment. A balanced spending amendment would have several requirements to it. First off, we would take 90% of what the country brings in, and Congress would be required to use that money to run the country. The remaining 10% would be set aside in case of emergencies, and then at the end of the year, if that money we set aside isn't used for emergencies and other things, we can use it to pay down the national debt. Yes, I know, we owe $18 trillion almost, and it's going to take a long time to pay that back, but hey, you got to start somewhere, right? The other requirement for the balanced spending amendment would be that Congress has to make sure that, one, they don't spend more money than what the country is bringing in, according to what I said earlier, and two, they have to make sure that the money that they have set aside is enough to run the government for the year. If either of these requirements is broken, then the president and the entire Congress is fired, gone, get out of here. That ought to provide them with just a little bit of an incentive to make sure that they don't spend more than what we're bringing in, and to make sure that that spending lasts throughout the year. I know what some of you are probably thinking right about now. You're probably thinking, yeah, balanced spending amendment would be a great idea, but just how are we going to get this passed anyways? Right now, the president and Congress are about as corrupt as they've ever been, and given the fact that they're the ones that are spending us into oblivion, there's no way they're going to try to stop the gravy train from rolling on down. So therefore, America, we have to exercise one of two options to get this done. Number one, do your research, find out which congressional and presidential candidates are willing to do something about this problem. Tell them about the balanced spending amendment and see if they're willing to get on board with it. Come November, go to your ballot box and then vote these people into office, so that hopefully they can get this amendment passed and get something done. Now, if that doesn't accomplish the task, then there's a second option we can also try. I know what few folks are going to probably say about this, but we can get together and attempt to form a constitutional convention and pass this amendment ourselves, bypassing Congress and the legislatures. I know both of these are not going to be easy. They're somewhat of a long shot. But hey, America, we can't afford not to do this. As I've mentioned, our national debt is spiraling out of control to the tune of almost $18 trillion currently. Just a note, every single year, we're paying hundreds of billions of dollars just in interest on that debt alone. That's hundreds of billions of dollars we could spend on more worthwhile things, like roads or schools or anything else except paying interest on the debt. And just a note, right now, interest rates are relatively low. Now, can you imagine what happens if, say, the economy improves and the economy starts booming and those interest rates go up? We're going to be paying over $1 trillion in interest alone on that debt if interest rates climb up. We cannot afford to let this happen, folks. I mean, we need money for other things, not paying interest on the debt. So please, try to put in people in Congress who will do the right thing, do what needs done, and get a balanced spending amendment into place. And if that doesn't work, we need to get together and form a constitutional convention and do it ourselves. Thank you very much, America, for joining us here on AxeGov News today. I'd like to thank you for your time and hope you have a great day. We're going to keep on cranking out episodes of AxeGov and exposing more corruption to help save America. Until then, have a great day and farewell.